Welcome to another edition of NC Sports Weekly News. Top water sport events in the spotlight. Quantum Racing wins the Royal Cup in Ibiza and now leads the TP52 Super Series. The cream of the crop met up in Brest for the RSX and RS1 Euro Championships. Tour de France à la voile, Camin, Troussel and Coville close the Atlantic chapter on top. Power Mania at the Baku F2 World Championships. AC34 update. Finally made the races begin. All this and much more. Plunge into the action with NC Sports. It's a comeback. Tackling the light winds of the last racing day, Quantum wins the Royal Cup Marina Ibiza and bags the second event in a row at the TP52 Super Series. The U.S. powerhouse with owner Doug DeVos, Ed Baird, Terry Hutchinson and local wind guru Jordi Calafat on board set the pace from the early stages and then put on the turbo, dominating the last 4 of the 9 races in the event. 4 wins and 2 second places translated into a hefty 7-point overall lead. With just 2 events to go, the Americans have now put a serious down payment on the 2013 title.
Well, we've made up. We're back to even, or we're a little ahead of even now, and so we've made up for. We've crawled our way back after 4 regattas, and 2 more to go. And the one thing you know about Azura is they're going to come back fighting. But we do have Jordi with us in Palma, and so I'm continually confident in us, and I'm also very optimistic because I know our gain rate will get better as we sail more together.
Grabbing 4 podium positions, including 2 wins here in Spain's sailing epicenter, it was a surprise second-place overall finish for British Team Gladiator, skippered by Tony Langley and with Chris Larson on tactics. This spelled upset for top-seeded Azzurra and Rand Racing. The Italians and the Swedes, currently in 2nd and 3rd places in the series, also had to hold back Interlodge Team, another up-and-coming U.S. challenger. Alberto Romers, Guillermo Parada and Vasco Vascotto still managed a 3rd place at the Royal Cup here in the spectacular Ibiza conditions. And Team Azzurra still trails by just 3 points in the TP52 Super Series. 2 wins in 5 podium placements do pay off, but 4 5th places were too expensive, and with the Americans of Quantum Racing on the rise, the Italians will now have to up their game to stay at the top.
Yeah, Palma is our home base and we feel very good there, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, everybody's been there a lot of times, so whoever has a good week will win there. Hopefully it's our turn again.
It's a serious reassessment time for Niklas Zenstrom Rand Racing here in Ibiza, as an under-par performance with a 4th place finish now puts the Swedes on an uphill chase in the overall championship. Next stop, Palma de Mallorca for the Copa del Rey and the penultimate event of the TP52 Super Series. Be there with NC Sports. "249 sailors from 38 countries joined up on the shores of Brest for the 2013 European RSX and RSX1 Windsurfing Championships. A relentless Byron Kokolanis captures gold in the men's division with a strong 8-point lead. The Greek kept up the podium placements and won 4 of the 14 races. Shahar Zabari from Israel held the pace, taking the silver, while France's Pierre Lecoq secured bronze. Current world champion Nick Dempsey had a strong start with 4 wins early on, but then paid dearly for another 3 poor finishes. The London 2012 silver did show a comeback, grabbing the last medal race for the UK, but points just didn't add up to the podium. In local shifty wind conditions, medal races were again crucial in the RSX women's division. National Pro star Kathleen Picon with a 3rd, a 5th, and a strong 1st place finish on the very last flight slips away with the Euro gold. Just 3 points were enough to hold back British Olympic medalist Briony Shaw here in silver, and 9 points kept Spain's Blanca Manchon at bay with the bronze. RSX European youth titles were also up for grabs here in Western Brittany. In the under-19 boys with 4 wins in 14 races, Bautista Sawide Brickner bags the gold for Argentina, while Artyom Javadov from Belarus wins the under-17 title. Also with 4 wins in the series, Israel's Hadar Khor clinches her Euro title in the under-19 girls. And confirming a strong windsurfing tradition, Shahar Tibi also took gold for Israel in the under-17 category. 2 more Euro titles were handed out in the RS1 class. In a mostly French affair, Lucie Pianazza completely overran the girls' division, while Hugo Moyart-Tanguy held back the boys. Lighter and easier to handle, the RS1 was developed by Neo Pride like the RSX and obtained a ISAF sailing class status in 2011. It is now considered the official stepping board towards Olympic racing. The Tour de France, yes, the sailing one, is now closing its Atlantic chapter with the last leg from Lorient to Saint-Gilles-Croix-de-Vie before jumping into the Mediterranean via land transport for the final 4-leg stretch to Marseille. The French all-time classic regatta for top professional and amateur crews has lured the very best in the circuit for this 2013 edition. Ocean sailing multi- and monohull superstars Franck Hamar and Thomas Coville confirmed all projections and are currently in first and third places overall, with Nicolas Troussel holding on dearly to second. With 18 races jotted off the calendar, 5 of which in offshore regattas, Groupama appears to be in a league of its own and now tops the leaderboard with 718 points. Troussel on Bretagne Crédit Mutuel trails by just 30 points and Sodebo by 33. The trio is now pulling away from the pack, and only Cédric Pouligny with a surprisingly strong Oman Sail team in 4th place seems to manage the pace of the leader. All bets are on as the grand finale of this tour will definitely be decided along the French Riviera. More updates in the next edition of NC Sports Weekly News. And don't miss the full-length special on this Tour de France à la Voile 2013, coming up this September 2nd on the Nautical Channel. Sweden continues its domination at the top of the Formula 2 Powerboating World Championship Series, packing a full podium at the last Baku Grand Prix in Azerbaijan. Tricky Caspian Sea wave conditions did play a role through time trials, qualifiers, and the match races, as well as in the 40-lap championship race, conditioned by crashes and 2 restarts. With 4.8-meter hulls like in Formula 1 and mounting the jolting Mercury's 210 HPs, these pilots sustain some of the strongest G-forces in powerboat racing. As crowds and local authorities watched from the promenade of this thriving metropolitan oil capital, Eric Stark jockeyed for top positions from early on in the race and finally blew the competition away on the last crucial overtake, at the expense of Ola Pettersson and twice world champion Jonas Andersson of local team Azerbaijan.
It was an incredible race, maybe one of my best races ever, and the start was terrible and we had problem with the angle from the start from the Yeti, but I didn't get so much speed with me through the first corner, but I was a little bit disappointed after that, so we were starting to recharge again to starting to pass people, and then the restart come, and it was like something from heaven for me. So I did my best. In the restart, and I was quite quick there. So when the second restart came out, I was just thinking, no chance I'm losing this. I think it was good. I had good confidence. So.
Doubling up on his win in the first Stockholm GP of the season, Stark is now the man to beat on the Formula 2 circuit for 2013. Stay tuned for the next stopover in Brindisi, Italy by end July, and for the full season NC Sports coverage of the Formula 2 World Championship. It is known as the Festival of Festivals, bringing huge crowds to Zurich for Switzerland's biggest summer event. It's Zurifest 2013, and the Nautical Channel crew with Lucia Metzbauer is on the move for special coverage.
We are at the Zurifest, the biggest festival of the country. 2 million visitors come for 3 days to enjoy the crazy shows. In the water, on the land and in the air. The best wakeboarders in the world meet here in Zurich, 10 of them to compete for the big prize money. We're going to be there talking to the stars of the wakeboard world just after the competition. Stay tuned on NC Sports.
The show has truly begun. Following nearly 3 months of drama, turmoil, and potential disaster for this 34th edition of the America's Cup, Emirates Team New Zealand and Luna Rossa actually raced against each other last week in the very first Rio regatta of this now ongoing Louis Vuitton Challenger Series. It was an unprecedented miracle in the long history of the Cup. The verdict of the ISAF International jury finally decided against America's Cup race management, and indirectly, the defender. The two famous safety regulations affecting boat weight and foil parameters, strongly and officially protested by both Kiwis and Italians, were thrown out by this courageous jury, bringing a little democracy to the whole process and possibly saving the event itself. While the 1-0 for the Kiwis was widely anticipated, the difference on the clock was certainly more than expected for the Azzurri. Proving to be far ahead on the learning curve from its first bizarre solo races, Emirates Team had better speed and handling. Above all, in this modern multi-hull game, Team Barker's All Blacks are now definitely the new masters of foiling on the powerful AC-72s. Sister ship Luna Rossa's 5 minutes plus delay equally shows that the Italians have plenty to work on. With the new Artemis Blue Boat soon out of wraps, a two-team challenge should become at least a three-way battle. Such are the hopes now for an event that remains well below par. Check out the upcoming edition of Top Story for the full inside report from San Francisco and the road to the 34th America's Cup. Plunge into the action with NC Sports.